Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Japan Life Hacks. When you hear about borrowing money, what kind of image comes to mind? Perhaps, the image of borrowing from a bank is quite common. However, it's also possible to lend and borrow money between companies. In such cases, one method involves issuing promissory notes to borrow money. This time, we'll learn about borrowing and lending money. Now, let's get started. The first content: loans receivable and loans payable. Not only banks, but also companies may engage in borrowing and lending money. Loans receivable represent the right to receive money back later, so they are recorded as assets. On the other hand, loans payable represent the obligation to repay money later, so they are recorded as liabilities. First, I will start explaining about loans receivable. Let's examine the journal entry. Company A lent 1,000 yen in cash. The journal entry is debit, loans receivable 1,000. Credit, cash 1,000. The money lent becomes a right to be repaid later. Therefore, it is accounted for as an asset under the category of loans receivable. On the other hand, since cash on hand has decreased, we will credit cash in the journal entry. When lending money, you can earn interest based on the duration and interest rate. Let's examine the journal entry. After half year has passed since lending 1,000 yen at a rate of 10% per annum, the interest was received in cash. The journal entry is debit, cash 50. Credit, interest income 50. We received cash, so we will debit cash in the journal entry. The credit side is accounted for under interest income, a revenue account. Interest calculation is done as follows: 10% interest is accrued over 1,000 yen for 1 year, and this is then calculated for 6 months' worth. Next, let's examine the journal entry of loans payable. Company A borrowed 1,000 yen in cash from Bank B. The journal entry is debit, cash 1,000. Credit, loans payable 1,000. Since the amount of cash on hand is increasing, we will debit cash in the journal entry. Afterward, as there is an obligation to repay the money, it is accounted for as a liability under loans payable. Next, let's look at the journal entry for paying interest incurred from borrowing money. Company A paid interest in cash for the 1,000 yen borrowed from Bank B. The interest rate is 6% per annum, and the borrowing period was 3 months. The journal entry is debit, interest expense 15. Credit, cash 15. To process the payment of interest, we record the interest expense on the debit side. On the other hand, since cash was paid, we will credit cash in the journal entry. Interest calculation is done as shown. The second content: bill receivable and bill payable. There is a method of borrowing and lending money using promissory notes. The party lending the money records it as bill receivable as an asset. The party borrowing the money records it as bill payable as a liability. First, I will start explaining about bill receivable. Company A lent 1,000 yen in cash to Company B and received a promissory note from Company B. Provide the journal entry for Company A's side. The journal entry is debit, bill receivable 1,000. Credit, cash 1,000. When lending money using a promissory notes, it is accounted for as an asset under bill receivable. Since cash on hand was decreased, we will credit cash in the journal entry. Next, let's discuss bill payable. Company B borrowed 1,000 yen in cash from Company A and issued a promissory notes. Provide the journal entry for Company B's side. The journal entry is debit, cash 1,000. Credit, bill payable 1,000. When borrowing money using a promissory note, the liability account bill payable is used. On the other hand, since borrowing money has increased the cash on hand, we will debit cash in the journal entry. Thank you for watching the video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. The higher the number of likes, the better the next video will be. Your comments are the driving force behind the creation of my next video, so please feel free to leave them. Thank you very much in advance. See you next time.